History is written by the victors, but few winners rewritten the very DNA of a nation as thoroughly as William the Conqueror. To his enemies, he was William the Bastard, a precarious ruler of a fractured French duchy. To the world today, he is the man who ended the Viking Age in England and laid the foundation for the British Empire. In the next 5 minutes, we are going to explore the 5 key pillars of his reign. From the bloody fields of Hastings to the ledger books of the Domesday Survey, William's story doesn't start with a crown. It starts with a knife in the dark. Inheriting Normandy as a child, he was surrounded by vultures, nobles who saw a young boy as an obstacle to their own power. His childhood was a series of narrow escapes. His guardians were murdered in his very bedchamber. This environment didn't just scare William, it hardened him. He learned early that power isn't given. It's seized and held through absolute vigilance. This minority period explains his later ruthlessness in England. He wasn't just a king, he was a survivor who believed that if you gave your enemies an inch, they would take your life. October 14th, 1066, the day that changed the English language, law, and lineage forever. William faced Harold Godwinson on Senlac Hill. The English stood in a massive shield wall, nearly impenetrable to standard infantry. William won because he was a master of combined arms. When his archers couldn't break the wall, he used his cavalry to pretend to flee. As the English broke ranks to chase them, the Norman knights wheeled around and cut them down. This wasn't just a win. It was a demonstration of a new, professionalized way of making war that the Anglo-Saxons simply weren't prepared for. Conquest is one thing. Control is another. In 1069, the north of England rose in a massive rebellion. William's response was so brutal it would be considered a war crime by modern standards. It is known as the Harrying of the North. He didn't just defeat the rebels, he destroyed the land's ability to support life. He burned crops, slaughtered livestock, and salted the earth. For 100 miles, no village was left standing. Tens of thousands died of famine. It was a terrifyingly effective strategy. For the rest of his reign, the North remained silent. William proved that his crown was bought with blood and maintained through total, uncompromising fear. After the blood dried, William needed a way to hold the land without staying on a horse forever. He imported a system from the continent that turned England into a giant military hierarchy, feudalism. William claimed he owned all of England. He then lent it to his 180 most loyal Norman followers. In return, they had to provide him with knights and money. To enforce this, they built hundreds of castles, stone fists, planted in the English countryside. Suddenly, the English people weren't just living in their villages, they were living under the constant shadow of a Norman lord's tower. Toward the end of his life, William wanted to know exactly what he had won. He sent surveyors to every farm and hamlet. This became the Domesday Book, the most complete record of a medieval society ever created. It was called Domesday because, like the Last Judgment, its word was final. No one could hide their sheep, their grain, or their wealth from the king's tax collectors. This book represents the birth of the English administrative state. It showed that William wasn't just a conqueror. He was a CEO who understood that data was just as powerful as a sword. William died in 1087, but the England he left behind was unrecognizable from the one he invaded. He brought a new language, a new law, and a new destiny. He was a man of immense cruelty and immense genius, the bastard who became a king and changed the world.